Okay, Bethany, if I said there's a job where you have to be a personal chauffeur, a private chef, a professional cleaner, and an event planner all in one, what would you say?
I would say that's a big job description, a lot of requirements there. It sounds pretty intense.
And it's called being a mom.
Well, we all know that being a mom is not easy. And sometimes, moms feel undervalued or underutilized. So, how can moms find their value in Christ alone, not in what they do or they don't do for a living? It's coming up on the Hopecast.
Hey, we're Steve and Bethany, a former radio team turned podcasters.
We're passionate about learning and sharing ways of putting the words of Jesus into practice in real life.
Here we go.
All right, we're so glad that you're joining us, Hope Dealers, from all around the world. It is really so cool when we look at the stats and we think, oh my goodness, there are
all these people are listening.
Yes, and it's so great to have you back aboard as we're going to be tackling a topic today about stay-at-home moms and how that is actually a mission field. We started last week. If you haven't listened to our episode last week, I really encourage you to go back and listen to our missionary episode that we did, because we really kind of set the foundation of what we're going to be talking about, not only this week, but next week as well. So go back, give that a listen. And it's really pretty short. I think we got in under about 30 minutes, so it's not going to take you terribly long.
I think it'll help kind of give some context to where we're coming from here, because in that episode, we just shared about what a missionary is and what a missionary is not. And so that's springboarding into this episode, talking all about being a stay-at-home mom.
Because here's the thing I think about stay-at-home moms. Number one, I think it is the most unrewarding, as far as public goes,
right?
Unrewarded, underrated job that is the most difficult of all time.
And you're underpaid.
The
pay is zero.
That's exactly right. So I have such a heart for stay-at-home moms because I feel like they get the short end of the stick so many times. It's like whenever you hear like a lady who is a working lady who's got the career, got the home, got the family, got everything going on, they have a tendency, not meaning it all the time, but sometimes to say, oh, well, it must be nice to stay at home all day.
Right.
It must be nice not to have to go to work.
Or the maybe the kind of outside perspective is like, oh, that working mom, like she's got it all together.
True.
She's doing all of this extra stuff and she's keeping all the plates spinning, and maybe kind of without even meaning to saying like, oh, but the stay-at-home mom, I guess she's doing okay. She's making PB&Js for the kids and that's about it.
Right.
Not really understanding, no, it's a ton of work.
It is.
And you're not thanked for it a whole lot.
I was a stay-at-home mom myself. Let me tell you.
You were really?
For a little bit, because
you were Mr. Mom?
I was for a bit in my life.
When?
I was in between radio jobs, because that's my
that's the life of a radio DJ.
That's the life of a radio DJ.
Yeah.
I was kind of in between jobs there for a little while, and my wife got called to a pretty significant case of jury duty. This was a big deal, and it was
like murder?
Well, no, it was a high profile wire fraud,
like extortion
kind of stuff. Yeah, it was kind of a big deal.
Hold on. Do we need to turn the Hopecast into a true crime podcast?
We may.
Hold on. Dim
the
lights. We're doing a true crime podcast.
Everything is not okay in Oklahoma. And if you there's some of you that'll know that reference.
Get that
some
joke
of you
there,
get that joke. So
she had jury duty.
She had jury duty. So for like literally 6 weeks, I stayed at home with the kids. And the thing about being a stay-at-home mom, it never ends. There's always laundry to do. There's always something to clean.
Yeah.
There's always something to do. And see, the brilliant thing about working for a living, quote unquote working for a living and getting a paycheck, is you have a start time, but you also have a stop time.
Yeah.
You can get them home and leave that behind.
You can go, it's 5:02. I'm out of here,
That's
y'all.
exactly right.
Bye.
Stay-at-home moms do not have that.
Also,
ever.
too, if your coworkers irritate you or something, you can be like, okay, it's Friday. I don't have to see them until Monday.
Yeah.
And you get a break.
That's exactly right.
And yeah, you're right. being at home, you don't really get that as much.
And here's the thing, too. I think stay-at-home moms is as much a calling as a pastor, as any other kind of quote-unquote full-time service. I think it takes a very special lady to say, okay, I feel like I'm called to do this. My wife was one of those. And I said, as we got started in our marriage, I was like, yeah, babe, I don't know. I work in radio. Here's the thing. I don't make a whole lot of money.
There's no money in radio.
There's not a lot of money in
For the
radio
most
for the
part.
most part. Now, you have your exceptions that are just fantastically wealthy.
Right.
But for the most part, we're just working stiffs that really just try to keep our head above water like everybody else. It's true.
A whole lot of ducks that are just paddling
That's
really, really hard
exactly
under the
right.
water, just trying to stay afloat. That's the majority of radio people.
And so I said, okay, a one household income,
Yeah.
and we have the new baby on the way. And it's like, okay, I said, well, let's try it for a year. And she was like, okay. She said, because my wife was, and I think this is another myth, that ladies who are stay-at-home moms don't have any hope and dreams. They don't have anything that they want to do with their life.
Ambitions or-
yeah,
yeah.
they're just, well, I might as well stay home because I don't want to do anything. Well, no, my wife is, I've said this a bunch, but she really is the smartest person I've ever met. She is. She just knows stuff about everything.
Yeah.
And she's very well educated. And she was planning on, at one point in her life, she wanted to be a physician, a pediatric doctor. And, but she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom more. And so as we were starting our marriage out, like I say, we said we'd try it for a year. Well, that 1 year turned into 20, really.
Yeah.
It really did, but with the other kids that came along and everything. And we made it. But my wife really felt in her heart and deep inside of her that this was a calling, that it wasn't just something that was throwaway, or that, like we said earlier, she doesn't have any ambition in life.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's the furthest thing from the truth. But she felt like that the raising of her children meant more to her. If it meant giving up her goals and ambitions in life, that's what she wanted to do. Now, look, that's not everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not trying to make anybody feel guilty or try to make anything more than what I just said.
Yeah.
It was her call.
But that was for your
Yeah,
wife.
that
That
was
was how she felt.
That was how she felt. And again, I know there's ladies listening right now that said, Steve, I would do anything to be able to be a stay-at-home
Yeah.
mom. I would love to do that, but our finances, our whatever, fill in the blank, won't allow me to do that. And I get that totally. I get that totally. But I'm just talking about for those who have wanted and felt that need to do that. I just think I have so much respect for them and so much just in awe of what they do.
Well, yeah, I don't have kids at this point. So, I really turned to the one person that I knew would have the most experience in this, and that was my mom. So
Yeah.
I called her up. I said, hey, Mom, I don't have kids yet, but you do. How'd you do it? Because my mom stayed home with us. We were homeschooled, me and my siblings, and so my mom taught us at home, and is truly one of those people that I look at and I just think, like, how did she do it? How is my mom the person that she is? She's so great. She's so talented. She has just a heart for so many people, and she's the most tender-hearted person I know. I thought, how's she doing this? Like, how'd you manage it? So I called her when I knew that we were going to be doing this episode and just talked to her a little bit. And I asked her a couple questions. I said, first of all, did you feel bad for not working outside the home? Did you feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough, or I need to be doing something else or whatever? And my mom was really honest. She said, truthfully, no, because I didn't really care what other people thought. I wanted to stay home with my kids. And my mom said, she's like, I'm not saying that I, didn't enjoy helping, because my mom would help my dad with different church opportunities or ministry opportunities, no matter where my dad was working or whatever. My mom would help him. And then early in their marriage, when my older two siblings were born, my family owned our own business. So my mom was able to bring the kids to work and do it that way. So she's worked throughout raising kids, but for the most part, she's been at home. And my mom just said, truthfully, I wanted to be with you guys, and I felt like that was time well spent. So kind of a similar story to you guys. If it meant, having a single income household and not providing financially, I thought that was okay because I was spending time with my kids.
Well, because Jana was the opposite now.
Really?
Jana
Oh,
had
okay,
there
okay.
was a lot of times, and even still some to this day, that Jana has that feeling of, I'm not doing enough for my
Oh, okay,
family.
okay.
I'm not helping enough. And she said, I can, and we've had a discussion many times over the years about, well, do I need to go back to work? And I'm thinking, okay, you go back to work or you go out to school. Okay, when you start adding up and putting, pencil to paper about, daycare and all these expenses versus what you're going to be bringing in, it's probably going to be a wash, you know?
Okay.
So we have fought and I don't say fought, but we fought that temptation, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
or
know if
just
temptation-
struggled with
the
that.
struggle. Yeah, the struggle with that because we haven't had new stuff. We haven't had new furniture. We haven't had, some of the more luxury things in life, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know if luxury is the best word, but we haven't had a lot of those through our marriage. And that was a result of us wanting to have her stay home. And I really felt like she was called to do this.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think every lady is called to do it, but I really sensed in my wife that this was where she really made a difference and really where God wanted her. So when those temptations arose, I wasn't necessarily going to tell her, no, you can't do something.
Right.
But what I was going to say was, I really feel like this is where God has led us. And he's provided for us all this other time. Let's keep trusting. Now, if we have to change, we have to change. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But let's keep the course and keep on going. And it's always somehow, some way worked. We've never missed a meal. We've never, never not had a roof over our head
Right.
in the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think too, from my parents' perspective, my dad was the sole breadwinner in our home, and so my mom, her mindset was, if we have to shop at yard sales and Goodwill and stuff,
Absolutely.
I don't care. Like, that's not a big deal. It doesn't matter if somebody else has used it before. We're going to get shoes for school and they're going to be used before us, and that's fine. And like, I never grew up thinking, oh, I don't have as much as other kids, or like, I never felt different or left out or less than because of my mom staying home and my dad working. I just thought, my mom's home with us and I
Yeah.
get to hang out with the best person ever. This is great. Like, I loved having my mom with us. And so maybe some of the things that she worried about of us not having the newest stuff or whatever, I don't even remember feeling left out about that. I just remember my mom being home.
Yeah, that's tremendous. And then when you add on top of your mom being a homeschool teacher,
Yeah.
that even adds another dynamic to it. My wife, we sent our kids to public schools and never have thought any less of doing that. And we got to the point where we thought, well, okay, when we get our last one out of the house, that, okay, she's going to go back to school and she's going to kind of pursue her dreams. Well, then all of a sudden, guess what?
Baby number 3.
after almost 9 years to the day, we had another baby.
Yeah.
And so we kind of hit reset on everything. And so we started over again. So now we've got, literally at one point in life, we had a freshman in college, a freshman in high school, and a kindergartner. That was our life.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think something that you said earlier about kind of Jana going like, oh, other families are doing it this way. Should I do it this way? I asked my mom about that. I said, what do you think was the biggest struggle that you felt as a stay-at-home mom? And she said, well, she didn't feel pressure to go work outside the home and get a job elsewhere. She didn't feel that pressure. She did feel pressure about us. Like, as kids, did she have us in enough activities? Or were we matching up, educationally to kids that were in public school as a homeschool family? She felt some pressure there that was kind of on her. And so she said that there were times where she would look around at other families and think, they've got their kids in 18 different sports and all these extracurricular activities. And am I not doing enough? Am I somehow not measuring up as a mom? She felt pressure there. And really, I think women in general are going to struggle with this, whether or not you have kids. It's just a fact of life. I think men struggle with it and women, but maybe women more so, is looking around and thinking, is there something wrong with me? Am I not enough? And am I not measuring up?
Well, and I think, and this is general terms again, I think a lot of times women, if they're moms, do that from the perspective of my kids. Are my kids getting enough?
Yeah,
Like you were
yeah.
just talking about. And I think my wife has struggled with that as well. In fact, I know she has. And she wants to make sure that she has them involved in the right things. But then again, she had a lot of convictions about, I don't want us to be driving around, not hardly even seeing each other, because I'm taking one to this practice and you're taking that one to the recital, and we just don't ever have time to meet or do anything as a family together. She didn't want to do that, so I really looked at the stay-at-home mom, at least in my, with my wife, as being kind of a glue that said, okay, we're gonna do that. But she did. She faced those struggles too. I know she did.
Yeah, well, and something that my mom brought up that I thought was really good that helped her move past those seasons where she felt really strongly like, oh, I'm not good at this, or I'm not working at this, and this is just a hard struggle or whatever. She said community was really essential for her. So I grew up in Virginia, and the area that we were in, the community of homeschoolers was pretty big, like a ton of families homeschooled. So there was a big community there. My mom had a lot of friends from church or just elsewhere that also homeschooled their kids. So she had a lot of women around her that were in the same stage of life, kind of in the same boat or a little bit ahead of her. And she said once a month, all those moms would get together and just hang out. It was like kind of like a mom's night out thing. And she said, truthfully, that was the most life-giving thing. It meant sometimes hiring a babysitter or my dad having to stay home one night, and miss out on doing an event with work or whatever. But it was what she needed to be refreshed and kind of refueled, because she was able to unplug, talk about kids, talk about what other moms were doing, but in a healthy, life-giving environment, not an environment of, well, my kids are doing this, what are your kids doing?
Exactly.
And kind of a comparison thing. She just said it was really helpful and really necessary for her, especially in the season of life that she was in where, it was like my brother's 10, my sister's 8, I'm 4, like a busy life stage and a lot going on. It was what she needed to be refreshed.
Well, my wife found community in what is called community Bible study.
Yeah.
There are a lot of those all over the country, and I think it's an international ministry as well, where ladies get together in the community, and it's a non-denominational thing, and you're able to just kind of share. You're going through a Bible study program, sure, but you're also having that so important community that what you need. And she has continued in that, and she felt like not only was she able to meet with ladies her own age, but she was able to see older ladies that she could kind of model herself after. And some of them were stay-at-home moms. Some had recently retired from working for decades and decades, but she still was able to pull from each one different things about their aspects of how they were wives and mothers and kind of incorporated in her life. And she found it as refreshing as anything to be able to have that community to be able to. And now she's able to kind of come full circle. Now she's in leadership of the community Bible study in our area, being able to really pour in to the lives of other ladies.
Well, I think whether you meet up with a friend for coffee or you do community Bible study like what your wife has done, or just a mom's night out thing like what my mom did, I think that time is essential because you're able to get out of like quote unquote mom mode for a little bit. You're having adult conversations with other women. You don't have to, I think everybody has like the mom voice that's like, no, don't touch that.
Yep.
Or, okay, you need to obey, that kind of thing. They can get out of that mind set or headspace and just step back a little bit and be relational with other women and just have the chance to talk and have kind of a friendship with other adults.
Yeah, right.
Not just being around kids. I think that was the main thing for my mom, was she just was able to get out of the house for a little bit and have a little bit of a break. Even though, of course, me and my siblings were perfect children.
Of course you were.
We were flawless in every
course.
way.
Little halos just
they
all
followed us
over
around.
the Fowler children.
They
Yes.
did. But even though that was so not true for my family, it did allow my mom just to get out of the house a little bit, which I think is important.
Yeah, and let's underscore this before we wrap this little section up. Let's underscore this. How do you be a missionary as a stay-at-home mom? And I think the answer is kind of obvious, but your mission field are those babies.
Yeah.
To be able to point them and guide them in the way that they should go. I mean, the Bible talks so much about that. Now, again, it talks a lot about it for fathers to do that. So fathers aren't off the hook on this.
No.
But the
That's
stay-at-home,
another episode.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode. But moms at home have the amazing opportunity not just to help raise those babies, but also point them to Jesus. And I think we so take that for granted so much because they're on the front lines. I mean, you talk about frontline, hard spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. Moms raising little babies up to, preteens and then teens and then out of the house. That's a big, big chore.
Well, I think when I was on the phone with my mom, she said it as well as anybody could. So I'll just kind of quote her. She said, don't feel the pressure to be perfect when you're at home with your kids. She said, just look at your kids And don't worry about what any other family is doing or what the other kids are doing. Look at your kids and see them as these are gifts from God. God has given this particular child to me. This kid has been matched with me since the beginning of time.
All the people in the world, the 7 billion people on this planet, God chose me.
I get to be this kid's mom. And so she just said, look at your kids that way and don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Don't feel that pressure to be perfect. Just be present for your kids and point them to the Lord, even when you're feeling frustrated or feeling overwhelmed. Just kind of live in that moment of, the Lord's called me to this. He'll help me no matter how rough my day has been.
You know, something that we're very passionate about here at the Hopecast is introducing you to the businesses that support us and help them to grow.
And one of our favorite businesses happens to be owned by one of our biggest listeners. It's Tina Clark from Love Your Flair Boutique. It's an online store with tons of super cute stuff, and they just rolled out a bunch of new items just in time for fall. So whether you want an adorable shirt for Thanksgiving or football season, or one with like a Bible verse on it to wear year-round, Love Your Flair Boutique has something that you'll love.
Tina has always had this dream of starting a business like Love Your Flair, but really never acted on it until she realized that by taking this leap of faith to go out on her own, she'd be able to show her kids that dreams can be achieved. Bethany and I have really enjoyed getting to know her lately, and we know that you're going to love her too. So check out all that she has to offer over at Love Your Flair's Facebook page. Check the show description for the link, or just go to StephenBethany.com.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us as we talk all about the mission field of being a stay-at-home mom. And even though I don't have personal experience with this yet, it was really cool for me to talk to my mom about this subject and say, like, hey, what was it like for you to raise kids?
Mm-hmm.
It was just encouraging, and I have so much respect for my mom, but just stay-at-home moms in general. As we've been talking and having this conversation, I thought about a story that I heard from Andrew Peterson, Andrew Peterson is a Christian artist, and he's one of my favorite people just to listen to. His music is so encouraging and just great. He has a song called Planting Trees, and I thought that's kind of a weird title for a song.
Yeah.
So I looked up the story behind it, and basically I might get some of the details a little fuzzy, but him and his wife were at a conference, and they were kind of doing a roundtable thing with this group of people. So all these people are going around the table, and they're like, you know, I'm the top of my field in this medical, blah, 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 and I'm an attorney at such and such and such. And all of these people were very successful. They had a best-selling author and a doctor and an attorney and whatever. So very successful people sitting around this table. It gets to Andrew Peterson, and he says, well, I'm a songwriter and an artist, and I do this and this and this, and I've sold this many albums and whatever. So he goes, his wife is sitting next to him, and he said, I thought, oh, this might be kind of awkward because she stays home with our kids, and she's a stay-at-home mom of homeschools, and this might just be a little uncomfortable. And his wife, he said, just blew me away. She said, well, I stay home with my kids, and I'm planting little trees, is how she worded it. She said, I'm raising my kids up in the ways of the Lord. I'm planting seeds in our home, and I'm raising my kids to love the Lord. That's what I'm doing. And everybody at the table just kind of went quiet. They're like, okay, well, all of our degrees and all the books that we've sold don't really matter.
She wins.
She wins. And so, of course, not being a competition or anything, but he just said it was a heart check for him of like, what is success and what is truly the whole purpose of raising kids and really just being here. It's pouring into other people. And so it was a really cool story. And of course, I've maybe got some details wrong on that. So I would encourage everybody to go and look up that song and listen to it. But I think that's something that as moms, if you're listening and you've maybe felt discouraged or felt like you're not making a difference, let that just be an encouragement to you. If you got kids in your home, they're looking at somebody. They're probably looking up to you the most. You're going to spend the most time with them. So that's a responsibility and really an honor that you have to pour into those little lives and point them to Jesus. I don't think that there's really a higher calling than that, than guiding somebody else in the way of the Lord.
And if you get to the point where you're just ready to pull your hair out and you're thinking, I can't do this anymore. I'm not equipped to do this. This is not me. I can't do it. I would encourage you to find one of those ladies in your life, whether it's mom or someone else at church, to be able to call and say, hey, look, I'm just at my wit's end.
Well, and of course we're not equipped.
No, right.
Like, we're not perfect. Of course we're going to make mistakes.
And if you can't find somebody like that in your life, always go to God and just pour out your heart. Say, God, I want to do this. I'm trying my best, but it's just not working. And just give it to him. You know, he'll bring you the peace that you need. He'll calm the quiet, at least for a little while. I mean, it's going to come back. It will. But at least for a little while, he'll give you that peace of mind and that calm of, hey, I'm right there with you. So don't ever forget that. And again, stay-at-home moms, you rock. You really are, I mean, the backbone, I think, of just life.
Well, you
really
have immense value that's not always talked about or not always seen, but God sees it. And so I think that's maybe the thing that we should highlight and underscore the most is that we should be faithful where God has us, even if it is, you know, a baby in one arm and a toddler on the other one and another kid crawling around your legs trying to get your attention and you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed out. God has you there for a reason, and we need to be present in that moment.
Absolutely. Now, if you're listening and you're thinking to yourself, I would love to be a stay-at-home mom, but I have to work. There's just no other way for our family to meet our needs than for me to do that. Well, take heart. We're going to be talking with you and hopefully bringing you some encouragement next week.
That's right. We're going to be talking about the working moms and just pouring into you, hopefully, and providing some encouragement. So I'm excited to get to that conversation. Speaking of working moms, our friend Tina Clark.
Look at that transition.
Woo, woo!
Very nice.
She's
Very
a pro,
nice.
ladies
She
and gentlemen.
is.
Tina Clark at Love Your Flair Boutique is one of our favorite people. She is a mom. She is a business owner, and she's also incredibly talented and creative. Check out this. If you're watching on YouTube or if you're a Patreon and you get the video, look at this. This is a cap that she made. So she owns her own hat and like clothing company. She also makes tote bags, all this stuff. Look at these
T-shirts here.
Look at these.
These are all kinds of fun colors for fall, especially.
Look at that.
And
just cute stuff.
It is. And we have got a special contest that we're doing. It's kind of a, well, you've heard of subscription boxes where folks have all kinds of fun little neat items that they want you to buy and, send to your house every week or every month. Well, we're going to do that kind of in reverse. We're going to do it as a giveaway box.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a T-shirt and a cap and maybe even a tote bag and some
other
coffee,
fun stuff.
some fun stuff we're going to put in there so that you can just have, especially as a stay-at-home mom, here's a little gift for saying, hey, thanks for doing a good job.
I love getting mail. So, there's something special about you open the front door and you're like, oh, this package is for me?
That's
okay.
exactly right.
So that's what we'll be doing at the end of this month. And also, if you just want to shop at Love Your Flair, we'll have the link down below in the show notes. She's got seriously super cute stuff, T-shirts, hats, tote bags, all kinds of goodies. Really, really cute, stylish stuff. And tons of designs and colors. How some small businesses have 4 options for a T-shirt? Not this lady.
That's
Tina
right.
is on top of it. So all kinds of stuff, and it's all linked down below.
And she should have her website up very soon so you can be able to shop even easier there. But right now, the link to the Facebook page is there. So go like it, if nothing else. It doesn't cost you anything just to look. Just go check it out. And if you like what you see, click like. And, hey, if you really like what you see, go ahead and buy something.
Go buy it.
It would really help Tina support her because she supports us, which supports you getting this podcast on video and on audio every single week. So it's a wonderful little circle.
It's a circle of life.
It is. It's so good. So check it out and buy some stuff from Tina, please. We appreciate you doing that. Now, again, we want to say thanks to TJ and Blue Stream Media for everything that they do to being able to do this professional production every single week. We encourage you, if you have any kind of event at your church or any other kind of event, really, if you're getting married soon, if you're looking for
conference at your church,
maybe a graduation party, maybe whatever, and you need some kind of really nice audio, video capabilities, something that will wow people, Blue Stream Media, BLUstream.com is the website. And I'm telling you, if you hire TJ and his team, you do like this. You just kind of
just wash your hands.
You wash your hands of all the AV worries because he's going to be on top of it, and it is going to be the most professional thing you'll ever have done for your event, your party, your conference, whatever.
It's bluestreammedia.com. BLU again.
Yes.
BLU streammedia.com. Don't add an E on there.
No.
Bluestreammedia.com. Go ahead and check them out. We also want to say, check out our website. It's stephenbethany.com. It's got all the episodes up there archived so you can go back and listen and catch up.
And we've got the videos there now too. So
yeah.
Everything is there.
You can see that we truly do have faces for radio.
We-
Go ahead and check it out there, StephenBethany.com. I think that about wraps it up.
It does. Again, next week we're going to be talking about how working moms are missionaries. So join us for that. And until then, good night, Olive Branch.
We'll see you guys later.